An individual's physical appearance can, really influence one's self-perception and identity. According to DeMello, back in 2014, societal stigmatization of larger bodies and the cultural emphasis on beauty demonstrate the complex connection between identity, self-worth, and body image. In this topic, we'll explore how cultural norms of beauty and body size actually shape the physical self and how we form our identities. According to Xiaodan Liu in 2021, beauty is something we all perceive on a personal level, and it's something that kind of surrounds us in our environment. Furthermore, it stands out because it's pure and enjoyable at the same time, and well, it's independent of any utility or practical goals. Liu stresses that truth or morality is, quite different from beauty, since it's tied to how we intuitively feel and experience things, without really overthinking or analyzing them. Truth, on the other hand, refers to truth-seeking, which involves cognition, while morality has more to do with goodwill. Beauty, though, is pure and independent, unlike truth and goodwill. So, for example, appreciating beauty can mean noticing a person's natural features, like the glow of their skin, the sparkle in their eyes, or the elegance of their posture. These traits aren't judged for what they do or tied to any moral value, but instead, they're seen as beautiful simply because they give us a sense of pleasure and admiration. Also, someone might feel a sense of joy when they catch their reflection after walking beside a lake, maybe noticing the natural flush on their cheeks or the calm look on their face. That kind of appreciation for their physical self is really innate and intuitive. It doesn't come from overthinking or from what society says is beautiful. So, yeah, it's really a pure acknowledgement of beauty as something personal and immediate. It's independent, intuitive, and purely experiential, totally different from any kind of intellectual or moral judgment. Cultural standards of beauty may also impact social dynamics. For instance, an attractive person may be perceived as a good, competent, and successful person. This phenomenon is called the halo effect. In simple terms, the halo effect occurs when an overall positive impression of a person is based on a single characteristic. Consequently, a person may be biased when a positive impression is created initially in one area, because it affects opinion in all other areas positively. This perpetuates the belief that physical appearance is integral to self-worth and identity. According to Aronson et al., 2015, an individual's social perception is influenced by the primacy effect, where the first details we absorb about someone greatly affect how we perceive later details. Moreover, we rely on schemas, mental frameworks that group traits we expect to co-occur. For example, when a person is perceived as competent, we may also assume that that person is powerful, while a person who is viewed as incompetent may be seen as weak or submissive. Likewise, physical attractiveness often leads to the assumption that a person who is beautiful is also competent, because it is associated with a person's schema that attractive people have other positive characteristics. In addition to primacy effects and schemas, belief perseverance contributes to the durability of first impressions. Belief perseverance is a tendency to hold on to a belief even when presented with new information that contradicts it. This tendency to stick to initial judgments even when they are proven incorrect stems from the discomfort associated with changing the primary beliefs that they have. Consequently, once formed, first impressions are challenging to alter. Aronson et al. 2015 describe how primacy effects, schemas, and belief perseverance contribute to the persistence of first impressions, even in the face of contradictory evidence. So, many researchers define body image as the feelings, perceptions, beliefs, and associated behaviors that relate to one's own body. According to the Canadian Mental Health Association, body image is both a mental and emotional construct. It's really the mental representation we hold of our bodies and the emotions we feel about that image. A healthy body image means accepting and appreciating your physical appearance just as it is, without chasing unrealistic societal ideals. On the flip side, a negative body image can lead to body dissatisfaction, low self-esteem, and even serious mental health challenges like depression and anxiety. Self-esteem, at its core, is a person's subjective sense of value and the respect they give themselves. It's not just about how we see our physical selves, it also includes our emotional and spiritual dimensions. When someone has high self-esteem, they're more likely to appreciate their abilities, handle difficulties better, and maintain a positive sense of self-worth, even when things get tough. But yeah, individuals with low self-esteem tend to struggle with negative thought patterns, feelings of inadequacy, and they're more vulnerable to mental health issues. Cultural standards of beauty, well, they differ across societies, but they're shaped by a mix of historical, social, and economic influences. In many parts of the world today, beauty is linked to physical perfection, like youthfulness and symmetry. Media ads and the rise of celebrity culture have really pushed these narrow, often unachievable ideals. Because of this, a lot of people, especially women, turn to things like cosmetic surgery, skin lightening treatments, or extreme dieting. And men too are feeling the pressure to build a muscular physique. As a result, when people can't meet these standards, they often feel inadequate and suffer from lower self-worth. So yeah, how someone views their body can be either positive or negative, depending on their own feelings and how they stack up against cultural ideals of beauty. Some of the essential components that significantly influence one's mental health are body image and self-esteem. They're, deeply interconnected with the physical self, which includes our perceptions, emotions, and evaluations tied to the body and overall self-worth. Harriet Frew, in 2023, a therapist based in Cambridge who specializes in eating disorders and body image issues, she identifies several key factors that influence body image, and these are really integral to how individuals perceive their physical selves. These factors include A. The culture. So there is a definite preference for a thinner physique in Western culture, especially for women, according to Frew in 2023, and the prevalence of skin lightening treatment in the Philippines, well, it can actually be traced back to American colonialism. That period really shaped how Filipinos came to see themselves and their beauty standards. This historical effect, it created a lasting impact, fueling the ongoing desire for the wide use of skin whitening products that are often tied to Western ideals of beauty. More recently, the growing popularity of these treatments has also been driven by a need to fit into popular culture, especially with the influence of global media. A study by Rejection in 2023, focusing on young Filipino men, found that body modification practices, including the use of skin lightening products, are heavily influenced by peers, employers, and global pop culture trends. All of these factors, when taken together, have significantly increased the demand for skin lightening practices, making them a central feature in modern Filipino beauty standards, as noted by Regencia and colleagues in 2023. So, self-esteem. Healthy self-esteem is, honestly, one of the best defenses against negative body image. It gives you, a kind of thicker skin and helps shield you from all those external messages that try to tell you how you should look. You're less likely to buy into them and more likely to stay objective when it comes to toxic cultural preferences. You won't feel like you need to chase some ideal just to feel good about yourself, because your sense of worth is grounded inside you, not based on outside approval or validation. Now let's talk about family values and attitudes. Imagine someone growing up with parents who are super focused on their appearance or constantly unhappy with their own body shape. Those kinds of values, even if unspoken, can really influence a person without them even realizing it. And if parents often criticize their child, or even just make comments about other people's weight or shape, well, kids tend to absorb those messages too. Sibling dynamics can play a role as well. If one sibling is, say, genetically blessed and gets a lot of praise for it, the other might feel less than, and that can chip away at their self-esteem. When there's low self-esteem in the family, combined with criticism or judgment, not just about looks but other things too, it can make someone more vulnerable to being harsh on themselves about their own weight and shape. Abuse or trauma. If you have experienced trauma, assault, or abuse, then, unsurprisingly, this can have a momentous impact on your body image. Early trauma can be held in the body and can lead to feelings of unworthiness or unacceptability. Focusing on changing your body can be a way to dissociate or numb from the painful underlying feelings, although this process may be entirely unconscious. Puberty. Frew in 2021 suggests that negative body image can stem from puberty. Women develop their physical bodies sooner than males, and this sometimes results in attention directed towards their appearance, which in turn forms some worrying views of their bodies. The stress made by noticing any change in height during puberty becomes immense, due to targeted ones in weight. Physical activity. Being active or developing sports abilities is oftentimes a positive factor in the body image. However, there are sports, such as fitness competitions, ballet, and any sort of riding, along with their popularity, that do create stresses requiring exponents to have universally accepted body types, like women's races, that increases body preoccupation and dissatisfaction. Acceptance or rejection in relation to your body. If you have been endlessly praised about your appearance, interestingly, this can lead to greater body dissatisfaction and feeling pressured to maintain your looks. It can create objectification or envy from others. If you have been criticized or rejected for how you look, this also has an understandable, profound impact. Bullying of all kinds is incredibly harmful, and this can lead to long-standing emotional wounds and self-consciousness, often projected onto the body, as Frew noted in 2021.